Hello, hello. Welcome, one and all, to this Blades in the Dark Cult of the Circle. Thank you very much for joining us here for an evening of daring do and lovely crimes. My name is Tom. I use he, him pronouns, and I will be your Blade Master for the evening. The city of Doskvol. A city of intrigue and wickedness. A city where the dead walk the streets and ghosts haunt every building. What you're about to see this evening is the tale of some criminals, entrepreneurs here in this terrifying city, and maybe a few little ghosts and ghoulies, maybe even a few gods to keep you entertained this evening. I have been keeping you for far too long, so it is my delight to introduce you to some of our players and our sponsors.
Hello, my name is Evie. I use she, her pronouns, and I am playing who uses any pronouns. She is a foreign research student at Doskvol Academy, conducting research into shadows and how they interact with the undead. Also has a weird thing for jam. We'll see if it comes up and becomes plot relevant or not.
Hi, I'm Scarlett. I'll be playing Hag, who is the Whisperer. You have any issues with ghosts? She's the one to call. And obviously, she lives with two grannies who are amazing and knit everything. Jam! Oh no.
Hello there, my name's Josh, and I will be playing Wraith, the Spider. Wraith has come from a land far, far away and is currently in the process of hunting down a group known as the Faceless. Will he succeed? Will there be jam? We don't know. Let's find out.
Check out our sponsor, Phoenix Dice, for carefully crafted click-clack math rocks for use in your favourite TTRPGs. Phoenix Dice work with recycled goods, meaning their products and packaging are all made from sustainable materials. You can go to phoenixdice.com to check their entire selection.
Big love to our D20 Club on Patreon. They're great. You're wonderful. We love you so much. And they help us keep the kobolds in line, which is very important. They get up to all sorts of cheeky jam-related activities. Anyway, the D20 Club, they've created a fan Discord where you can come and chat about all things Roll Together. And they've created a wiki page to help you keep track of all of our stories, which you can find at rolltogether.fandom.com. You can join and be as cool as they are from as little as one of your local currencies per month by following the link in chat or in the description below.
You can find us on social media by searching Roll Together RPG or by following the links in chat or in the description below. And if you can't join us live and also want to see any of our previous episodes, you can catch up straight after on YouTube or your favourite podcast provider by searching Roll Together RPG.
Finally, we run queer-friendly tables and encourage and support trans and GNC players and characters in our games. Our players and DM may portray characters that are of a different gender to their own. We aim to avoid misgendering but acknowledge that it does happen. We welcome corrections and have a company policy in place for correcting people on pronouns. Check out Safety in Chat for content warnings and some of the safety tools that we use through the TTRPG Safety Toolkit.
Hello and welcome back. Welcome back to this second half of our adventure that I have called The Invisible Life of Norm Our Human, because no one sees Norm. Poor sweet Norm. In the first half, Norm awoke after a month of, well, we're not quite sure yet, but has gained a new god, codename Ray Ray, a fire fox god, possibly. Other browsers are available. They went on a very charming date to get some gelato, where they dined and dashed, but also hearing the cries, the terrifying attack of Manbat, the scourge of the city of Doskvol, which is impressive considering how many scourges Doskvol has. Norm returned to Doskvol Academy or University to discover various notes from their supervisor, one Professor Gore, basically saying, I do not know who you are, but you are currently on my books as one of my PhD students. I think we need to have a talk. Norm then spent basically a 12-hour shift just working all night, drinking a lot of Second Life energy drinks, eating a lot of donuts. They have managed to complete 5/6 of the clock, which is better than nothing, and managed to catch the professor as she was going to lunch. She has now not so much invited Norm to lunch, but has said, I am going to lunch, I guess you can come with me and I may read your notes after I've eaten. So, Norm, slightly warm Norm from having dashed across campus in your woolies. You are walked back down the circular stairs. Again, this is a very old, sort of Victorian building, as most of them are. The electrical lights in this place don't light it very well. You did very well not to fall down the stairs as you were running up them. But you are
I have dark sight goggles.
No fear. Yeah, you head back down. You are going to the main canteen, not sort of like where you robbed last night. Was sort of a smaller hatched place that was open late, but this is big. And again, sort of, this is a remembrance of a time long past. Again, sort of like for any of our viewers, if you've ever been to somewhere like Oxford or Cambridge, where they're like, we have these massive halls and no one to fill it with. There are various paintings on the walls of lecturers who have left. There's also a small, decent oil painting of a young man whose name is Richard Marwood, who was a lecturer who mysteriously died 20 years ago. Very popular, and they have dedicated a wing of the library, actually the wing that you hide in, that has that little aspect of the Marwood Memorial. He was a professor of literature, and as it died mysteriously 20 years ago. Which, of course, means nothing, really, to Norm, but is worth noting that is there. The Professor Blair
in this city.
Oh, everyone dies. Sort of like
that's just a regular death.
It's just just. I think the fact that there is a painting of him shows how popular he was as a lecturer, rather than sort of like. So yes, are you going to eat? Do you think?
I'm kind of full on jam donuts.
That's fair. That's I think that's the sort of thing that the professor hasn't necessarily invited you to lunch, as I said, but you have followed along, and the professor is going to eat her lunch, and then she's going to read your notes.
I think, though, to blend in with the people around, I need to be caught in that NPC loop again. I'm probably going to have something to at least pretend to eat.
Sure. What do you think is the most NPC of all the lunch foods?
God, it's just a mug. It's just like a coffee just to keep sipping.
You go over to a old time, brass urn coffee. You pull the lever, and black sludgy coffee comes. This is the thing. It's not good quality coffee, but it is strong. For those of you who don't run on the Second Life potions, this is gonna keep you. Your fellow students rely on this, and it never seems to run out. It's one of those lovely things that I said, like, this place is 24 hours. Well, not this bit, but the university. Yes, you go. You fill up a tin mug with black coffee. Do you want to put anything in it?
Just gonna put a little, just once I'm at my table, just a little bit of the mold jam. Just stir that in, just for a little bit of sweetness. Mommy.
Do you have like a little spoon? Do you have like a little jam spoon?
Always.
Yeah, you reach into your winter woolies with a little spoon, a little bit of jam, stir in. You trying to hide this from people that you're taking jam out of your pockets?
No, it's a perfectly normal thing to do.
I'm not even going to make you roll. If people do
The
notice,
student.
yeah, The fact that you've said that means, yeah, definitely you're not going to. You're looking around. There are people there in their pajamas. There are people who have clearly been out at the the late night bars and are still in costume. As said, this is a 24-hour place, even though it's about 2:00 in the afternoon now.
Drunk from the night before.
Oh god, yeah, no. Some of them have never going to sober up while they're here. It's just constant. The professor gets a sort of basically a bowl of soup, vegetable soup, bread roll. Also makes use of the coffee dispenser, and she doesn't go and sit on like the lecturer's table. She goes and sits among, because she obviously wants to talk at you. Talk not to you, at you. This, as I said, this is your supervising lecturer, who you have assisted throughout her lectures by the addition of jam, which has now created the sticky jam ghost, and also by the addition of shadow puppets.
The only way my voice can be heard in those lectures.
It's just so tragic.
It is. It really is.
What exactly are you writing about? You're talking about shadows. What question are you trying to answer?
Oh, the question I'm trying to answer is how and why are shadows specifically affected by ghosts and and other supernatural entities, and why does it have an effect on shadows? How can we harness this power potentially? What is the real significance of this? What does this tell us about the nature of our reality?
As you're saying this, sort of like the text is appearing above in your handwriting as she is with one hand eating her soup, break up her bread, but is reading through your notes. Interesting. How much do you think people remember when they're actually really paying attention?
When they're really paying attention, they probably do see Norm as a person, like, because the party members can engage Norm in a conversation and remember to bring them in to the mission. So I think when they're really trying, and Norm is actively trying to like be noticed and engaged and not just blend in, then they can be seen as a person.
But this doesn't work retroactively. She isn't going to suddenly remember that you were. No.
I don't think so.
No. This is very well researched. Interesting. You've actually, as you said, you've done some in the field. Why haven't I been seeing you at my lectures then?
Well, I've been there the whole time.
Right.
I've not been paid, and you didn't let me say anything. But a few months ago, you said I could assist on your demonology lectures. So I've been there, ready to help. Occasionally, I put in a shadow puppet to help.
Shadow puppet.
I'm always happy to weigh in on future lectures as well.
That would be very interesting. That would be very, very worthwhile. Yes, this is. I'm sorry that I seem to have. Out of game. This isn't like. For me and you, this would be weird, but we're living in Doskvol at the moment. So, also, as you said, she teaches demonology. I would be very interested, actually, in you. Apologies, Norm. You make me feel like we've probably had this conversation before. No, I think your expertise would be particularly of interest. Have you been talking about Ray in your papers?
I feel like I have alluded to a kitsune mask and what the significance of this could be, and it was observed at one point in time to have the shadows moving away from it, but I haven't said it is now in my possession for further research purposes or anything like that.
I think she picks up on that, and she's like, I'm particularly interested in your referencing the kitsune here, the firefox. Yes, you don't seem to have referenced where you've done research. I mean, obviously, I'm particularly interested in this as a subject. Do you want to talk to me a bit more about that? Why is this in particularly of interest to you?
Of course. Well, I actually encountered the mask. I didn't get ethical approval to go and speak to the proprietor who was currently holding the mask at the time, which is why it's not referenced specifically, because I think I need to go and get approval for that now. I don't know how that works, but it was very interesting how yes.
Yeah. No, I was going to say it does seem particularly also the way it seems to repel the shadows. You said sort of like the circular corona of light around produced. I mean, so like again, like looks at you through over the top of her glasses, and then sort of like, you said you didn't ethically. I mean, you're not doing anything illegal in your research, are you?
Absolutely not.
If this was D&D, I said make a deception roll. But,
well, would doing something illegal be a problem?
I mean, if we're looking at this sort of form of academia, this dark academia of ours, it's a bit like Indiana Jones. Where it's like, sometimes our lecturer goes to other countries and upsets ancient gods. It's fine. We still keep him on retainer.
I mean, like, how trustworthy is Professor Gloom? Glare.
Professor Gloom, you can't trust as far as you can throw them, but Professor Glare, I think you have been in Professor Glare's lectures since the beginning of the term, and you've listened to her talking. And I think that's been the weird thing about you standing there, but you've still sort of picked up on it. It is very hard to study demonology and keep your hands clean. That ethically, again, sort of like, I think she's very similar to you in this thing, where she has obviously said, oh, I've got access to this book. And people are like, where did the book come from? She's like, hey, don't ask questions. Yes, I think from sort of like talking through, like seeing her lectures, where she is obviously, she's an older woman, she's well versed in it, but has seen, I think the technical academic term is seen some shit. Yes, so if you got the feeling that if you had come out and said yes, this was illegal, she'd be like, careful. But there's sort of ways around. Okay, yes, interesting. Of course, just as a sort of preparatory look through, are you okay with me looking in more depth of this over the next few days?
Just... may I ask a question, if that is okay?
Yes, of course.
This mask, if hypothetically I had gained access to this mask and potentially, hypothetically again, any cosmic beings connected to it, is there a way for me to sweep under the rug the specific way that I got hold of this information?
Hypothetically, of course.
Hypothetically.
Yes, hypothetically. Yeah. Just there's various. She also winks back. We could say that you managed to access it through. Again, the university has access to a variety of interesting occult items that you could simply. Looking down at the piece of paper and looking at. Did you draw a picture of Ray Ray when you were doing your lovely little drawings?
I think so, with like a diagram of how the shadows flooped away.
I think there's a nice sort of again, it's like face on and then side on, like showing the shadows. mean, yes, I think there are ways around it. I mean, would you possibly be interested in, hypothetically, donating it to further research, further study?
I would be most interested in carrying out my own study on it first, before handing it over to any other interested parties. I need my research to fill a niche, and if I give that away immediately, I might be without a thesis.
The smallest smiles coming out. Like, she seemed to be getting quite glary at you a little bit, and then you're like, interesting. Yes, the fact that you... I don't know how much you've looked into Professor Glare, but especially being a woman in academia, maybe some other members of the company were like, yeah, it's very interesting, of course, so, yeah, no. You've managed to hit on something there. You are being careful, of course. You are applying the correct wards. I mean, you would never actually put the mask on, would you? Hypothetically.
That's far too exciting. I am an academic.
Again, other side of her mouth goes, no, of course, we wouldn't. Again, she gets a look in her face that... How again, I want to say, how good are you at reading people?
I feel like Norm is intrinsically quite good at it because he is able to mirror back whatever they're kind of giving off fairly well, usually.
I think, again, like, if we pick up on the energy here, where you're also, like, going, oh, interesting, she would put the mask on. She's that sort of, you've got... if you had to pick anyone who was going to, help you with your... Yes, you've picked the right lecturer who... No, but, yes, I said I'm doing my, as you know, I'm doing my seminar in a couple of days. Again, if you'd like to... I feel bad, Norm, for not being able to... would you permit me asking a very forward question?
Okay.
Are you cursed?
Am I cursed? Not to my knowledge, but I don't know, maybe. It's not outside of the realms of possibilities.
It's always good to be skeptical about these things, to leave an open mind. Norm, I assume that you have always had this innate ability to be forgettable.
It's never been put in so blunt terms, but yes.
The voice in your head is incredibly rude. Yes, so again, it's sort of like... I don't think, I think we've said you've never really met anyone who has the same abilities as you. As far as you know, to be asked, are you cursed? I think you've just handled it well. You're like, how would I know? Sort of.
Maybe.
You could have been born under a bizarre star. And also, as we keep pointing out, this is Doskvol. Everyone's got something weird. Yeah. Professor Glare. Yes. But I think, well, again, I preach caution. I feel you've got the good start of a good question here. I think a bit more research, careful research, of course. I think we could get. I'm glad that my letter seems to have finally brought us together after all this time.
One final question, Professor,
Yes.
if it's okay.
By all means, no.
You wouldn't happen to know of any particularly keen undergraduates who might like to assist with some of my research?
Oh, I mean, there's always... Soup spoon goes down. What exactly are you looking for? Keenness, mental agility, or just willingness to carry the bags?
Willingness to carry the bags and carry out background research on some of the finer details.
I think there's a young man who's particularly keen to... Well, I think he would think of it as gain power, but No, I feel
Knowledge is
especially
power.
knowledge is power. She says, gesturing to the seal. Which shows some sort of demonic creature being like driven back by a book. Like, no, power. Yes. She. I could make an introduction between the two of you if you'd like. If you'd like to. He will probably looks a little bit. He'll probably be waiting by the office by the time we head back. He's keen for power.
Well, I can't promise power, but I can pretend to get him to come along.
Between me and you, if you could get him off my back, I would appreciate it.
Absolutely, though it does make me wonder about the character of this young man.
Well, we cut to, there is a young man, sandy hair, just glowering. Professor, I was hoping to catch you before. Looks over, weirdly looks at you again, slides past, but you're like, he probably wouldn't pay attention to me, even if he knows that. I've been reading from the books that you suggested. I particularly have some questions. He's like, okay, Adican. This is Norm. Norm is participating into some research that I think particularly. Again, he doesn't wave back at you. He's sort of like looking at you very intensely. And some research that I think would be interesting. Are you too interested in the demonic arts?
That's why I'm studying here.
Excellent. The addition of power?
Knowledge is power.
Knowledge is power. Again, gestures. There's no seal there this time.
I feel like there's like a portrait sort of thing on the wall that says the pen is mightier than the sword, but the past pen is mightier than both.
The pen is mightier than the sword, but nothing is more powerful than magic. There is a man in a robe showing like, This is a very strange place that you are studying, but
I love this school.
Yeah, I love it. Just more here. Yes. So, Norm, if you would like to have a discussion with with Adican here, I will see you at I'll see both of you at my lecture in a couple of days. Norm, I'll have some notes. Also, I think there's some more suggested reading that I can do that could give you. I think this is very. It shows a lot of promise. Again, that sort of thing of her sort of like slightly squinting at it, going, she's not a stupid woman. She can read. She can read through some of these things. But you haven't really lied, and you've done a lot of winking. So yes, the professor goes back into...
on Norm it would be.
Yeah. Which does, again, beg the question, are you cursed?
It's just Norm.
It's just Norm. You have now gained this grumpy academic, this occultist, Adican. If you have any questions for me, I can also answer them. I've done a lot of research into power.
Collective power?
Ultimate power.
Ultimate power. It's always ultimate power. You need to start smaller. So, it's Adican.
Yes.
You're interested in ultimate power?
Yes.
Any interest in joining a cult?
Will it provide power?
There are many routes to power.
Usually when people are talking about these sort of things, they don't actually come out and say it's a cult. They call it like a club or a religion. You're officially saying that you're a member of a cult.
Not yet, but I need some members. I mean, I wouldn't have used the word cult myself if it were not for the deity had used that word themselves.
You can call it. You can call it whatever you want. You can call it a club. You can call it a cult. You can call it social society.
Let's call it the Circle.
Change. Editors, if we could just pop up the little screen that says the Circle. Will the Circle be unbroken? Hopefully not. Right, the Circle. What are the goals of the Circle?
That's where your research interests come in. We are trying to figure this out. Have you ever wondered how a circle gets started?
You are, again, you're in the corridor having this conversation. Anakin just stops and is thinking. It's just like a riddle.
No, it's an academic question.
Right.
So, people follow where power is. I am saying... What am I saying? What am I saying? I lost my train of thought.
Which I think is also great. The Norm starts this lecture, and you're like, yeah, power starts, it's, time is a flat circle, it's a wheel.
No, I've got it.
Yeah.
So if you want to find the road to ultimate power, you need to follow it from the source, the little stream, as it goes to the ocean. Do you understand what I'm saying?
If you want to know where power starts, you start at the spring. All
You
right.
start at the beginning, and this is the beginning.
Right. Are you planning to destroy the city?
Don't know yet.
I mean, as I said, I don't really want to destroy a city, but I don't know. Just Ray just seems tired and just a bit like.
I just say,
Yeah.
Ray, we will get ice cream later.
Fine.
Or waffles.
There's a bit of heat coming off the mask. I've not had waffles before. Yes. This man, this child, do you think that he is going to be of use to us?
I think as long as we can manipulate him into thinking this road will lead to ultimate power, absolutely.
I mean, I'm not against it. I'm willing to, whatever does not... Now I'm thinking about it. No, I do not want the city destroyed, because that is where we live.
Yes.
We do not. Yeah.
I say back to Anakin, I do not think that we do want to destroy the city, or else where would we live?
That makes no sense, yeah. I mean, unless we're going to go live with your god, in the
That's
clouds.
the question. That's what I want you to start with. Where do gods live?
Anakin gets out his notepad. Where do gods live?
I'm gonna draw a little map to where the temple is and just say, when you found the answer, or are on the track to the answer, come and find us here.
All right. Okay. Yeah. Cool. Do I need to get like a tattoo or anything? Can't even.
Maybe down the line, we'll see. Do you have any strong feelings about tattoos? Any fear of needles?
I mean, not really. I don't like. I mean, I've got an aversion to like rough things, like so if we're wearing like sackcloth or anything, I don't want to do that.
No one. Why would we be forming a sack cult? Who's in the sack cult?
Is that another question?
No, that was a reprimand.
Oh dear, I've got a demerit and I've only just started.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, boss, high leader. What's your position?
Oh, I am the abnormal one.
Whomst? The abnormal.
Alternative identity.
Well, it's. I would say it's Christmas. It's not Christmas, but it might be Christmas when you're watching this. Everything's in flux, you know. It's the early days of the circle. Perfect. You have gained 1 acolyte. If he's gonna, do you want me to tell other people, or is this like a menu secret?
Keep it small for the time being. Try to only say it on a need-to-know basis. You are working with me as a research intern for the time being on a vague project. Keep it vague.
Vague. Right, okay. Attican, who seems to be perpetually glaring. You don't know if he just needs glasses or he's just weirdly grumpy. Attican heads off. He is going to go research where do gods live. And again, when you see him next, is probably going to have a long list of research into gods, and hopefully more than that. Just to turn up, he's like, they live in the sea, or the clouds, or the minds of their followers. And you're like, thanks, Attican, that's real useful. Your
Hoping
mind.
something will give us a start on where to find the sister.
Yes. Yes. Hopefully that is definitely the clock has started on. You have sent one of your acolytes, your only acolyte, out to go and do some research.
Gonna have to try and scheme ways to make them think that they're gonna get ultimate power out of this deal.
Oh god, yeah. I mean, you're smart. You could probably string this along. I mean, you've got a professor who's relatively on your side, will not join your cult. You get the feeling, but is also weirdly amused by this. But it's like, yeah, okay, you know, this is a world of demons and ghosts. So you're like, yep.
Hey, we're in a place where you study demons and ghosts. How do you study them? You talk to them.
Yeah.
Form a cult to them. Sucks.
I like to think that's how you give your lectures. Like, hey, how do you do it? You do it like this.
Because Norm is trying to be down with the kids, so she uses excessive hand gestures.
The kids like to do hand gestures.
Whew.
They're just quietly dabbing in front of a painting of like a demon attack on a town. You're like, dab on your graves. Don't dab on the graves. Perfect. So
Dabbing
Norm
on
has.
graves is now a ritual.
Oh yeah. Dab on graves. There is again, when you're talking about vices, there is now the vice that can be ritual, which I think you can still use weird because there's all leads in. So if you want to go cover yourself in jam and dab on a grave, hey, I'm not one to stop you.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, first I need to feed a hungry mask with new foods and experiences.
Yes. You is that what you want to do? You want to go take your god out for waffles?
Yes, and then I will have a nap.
That's very, very fair. It's been a long month for you. You go. Do you have a particular? Does Norm eat waffles usually? No.
Norm doesn't really like waffles. They're not quite soft enough.
Yeah, they're.
But is willing to take the bullet to keep Ray Ray happy.
You head slightly more into town to it's a bit like an ice cream house again, but they also serve. They're not gelato, but they serve waffles.
On the way, can I swing by Dodger?
Absolutely. Okay. So this is all the part of town where you live. You go to, this is your area near the university. You go in. Dodger. Dodger is quite a sort of. Actually, that's the thing. Do you have a mental image of what Dodger looks like?
So honestly, I'm imagining him a little bit like the Artful Dodger, but grown a little bit too much for his clothes.
Dodger is in ill-fitting clothes, like the top hat, sort of. Again, I just rubbed my nose there like he's snotty. But there's the sort of thing where he just seems very sort of. Again, he obviously was a big maybe when he was younger, that sort of thing where he's just like, I know I'm running a jam house. Yeah, looks up and like, all right, Norm. Right, long time no see.
I only seem to have mulled jam left. Can you recommend me a new flavour for the week?
Oh, of course. Have you had boysenberry?
No. What is a poison?
Well, it's berry. Sort of gets out a purpley. So as he's sort of putting it together, type of berry. A lot of people think that it's poisonberry, but I mean, sort of looks. I think we could find poisonberry jam. That's sort of looks you up and down a little bit. It's like, well, it's an acquired taste, but no, poison. It's quite sweet actually. No, we got this shipped in. While you've been gone, managed to get a shipment. Actually, gets like a tiny little spoon out of it and sort of like flips it, hands it over to you if you want to.
No, it's a...
If we just hold a moment, I'm going to tell you what a boysenberry tastes like. This is where it's like, it is actually poisonberry. A boysenberry looks a little bit like a blackberry. It's sort of, again, those, blackberries with the little bumps and so it's a bit like that. It's also, hey, it's like, could it be found in the UK? Yes, it can. It's like it's like a wild berry. So quite like, so if you think of it like blackberry jam, it's that sort of thing. There's a bit of a tartness to it. Yeah.
Thank you, I will take one. And, maybe some poisonberry?
Gets a stick. Pulls the shutters down. Just the top hat. Right. Poisonberry. I was about to say you're planning to poison anyone's porridge, but that's never my business. You're one of my best customers, Norm. If you want a thing of poisonberry, would you like me to write the letter P on it so you don't accidentally eat it, or?
They should be able to tell by smell alone.
All right. You want a ribbon or anything? Actually, your blood jam. Yeah, that's the last time I saw you. How did that go?
I think he ate it, and I believe he enjoyed it. I mean, it turned out he was a vampire, so I imagine would have loved it.
He's just like, right. I would have thought, a vampire would probably love a blood jam.
Why else would I be requesting blood jam?
I don't know, Norm. And to be fair, every time I talk to you, I realise sometimes it's none of my business what you do with your jam. Speaking of, you're one of my best customers. Hops down. Again, has not grown a lot since being he's still quite a small guy, long coat. You get scooped out a thing of the poison. Again, quite a nice like tartan top to the jar. Nice ribbon. The poisonberry is in what is basically a glass jar with like a normal jar lid. It is not decorated. I think again, as you hold it up to the light, you're like, that just looks like a dark, well, a bit like the blood jam. There's a darkness to that jam, which, more syrupy than, there's not chunks in this. It's just, I'll put that on your tab then, shall I?
Absolutely. What is that tab coming to at the moment?
You owe me a couple of coin.
Okay, that's not too bad. Put it on the jam tab.
Yeah, jam tab. Yeah. Sure, no. And if they ask you about the boysenberry, tell them that Dodger gave it to you. And if they ask about the poisonberry, I've never seen you before in my life.
The protocol. Understand.
As Game recognises Game, a very sweaty older man was like, yep, cool. gets the stick, opens up the shutters. Again, this is a part of town that people don't really come to. It's weird that there's a man who just sells jam,
Just has the weirdest kind of jam, just ready to go.
Yeah. The fact, again, sort of the fact that he has such a wide variety, it's almost, I like to think, like, looking behind it, it's like those sort of things when, like, the mafia open a pizza place, and then they realise they actually are very good at making pizza, and so it kind of, like, this strange man who's been, like, trying to cover, and it's like, yeah, I sell blood, and, he's like, actually, no, I'm really into making jam. So, yeah.
You want to monetize that hobby.
I mean, never work another day of your life if you do what you love.
Yeah.
/ you don't have any hobbies now. Yes, please feel free to add boysenberry and poisonberry jam to your inventory.
Hell yeah. I still need to cross out artisanal blood jam as well.
That is gone.
Excellent. And now we go to waffles.
You go to Waffles. You cross a couple of roads. You go into there is, as I said, it's a little bit like an ice cream, but I don't think they're necessarily saying ice cream, but they're doing the thing where they've got a big sort of oil vat that they're pressing it, cutting it up. And there's quite a lot of other students around. There seems to be, by the time you're coming out, it's probably closer to maybe 5-ish, so that people are coming into that point where they're like, I need to eat something sweet before I go into my all night, writing. There are various like benches, a bit like, again, with these sort of restaurant things where they just have the weird benches on the outside so it's open because people are sitting there. But there are benches. There are also various parks around if you just want to go tuck yourself out of the way.
Yeah. Definitely got to be out of sight for when I'm eating this waffle. Because, like, wear like a demon-y mask in a school where people study these things.
Yeah. They're just like, hey, I think that is the demon. Yeah. Yes, as I said, you're in Charter Hall still. But yes, I'm just having a look on the list of what... Actually, no, I'm not going to put you in Charter Hall, because that's where the other university is. We don't want to deal with them.
No.
That's a good... I look at places, I'm like, this is the red light district. I'm like, definitely not putting the university in there. Crowsfoot. So Crowsfoot is the like the crossroads between sort of... Yes, it's sort of like in the centre where everything sort of crosses through, and then there's the university.
It's kind of the perfect place for an occult university.
If you're going to put it anywhere, yeah. There is also, actually, I quite like this as so where there's a bit of in the canals. There's an area known as Tangletown, where one of the great whaling ships crashed. And that's the thing. Now there's like a floating market that has come up from. So that's the thing. You're able to like step out, small like little jetty carrying on various noise movement. You're able to go get a waffle to come out. And yes, there are various sort of parks around that you're able to just go hide yourself. I'm not saying you're hiding yourself in a bush, but you definitely sort of like at the bottom of an old... Again, it's weird, because this is a place that has no light, but yeah.
You can climb up a tree into the branches.
I think you definitely can. Do you want to roll me something for climbing a tree?
Sure, I would say that this would be, out of all the things, finesse.
I would definitely give you finesse there.
That's a 5.
I would even say that sort of thing that I wouldn't say that it is particularly acrobatic. I think it's a very clup, 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 and you're up in a tree. It's very slow.
About to eat your heart out.
Yeah. Across the city, man, that just... You have now gained one thing of animosity to the clan that is Man-Bat. You're making enemies.
No.
You're making enemies. The
I
circle.
like the idea that Man-Bat can hear a curse against him wherever we are in the city.
It's because it's daytime. Man-Bat's just there going, "What have I done?" Well, no. The name Man-Bat cursed. No, but I will find a cure. Don't worry. I will work. No. Yes, it's a Jekyll and Hyde. Poor Man-Bat.
Oh,
Poor sweet Man-Bat. Yeah. Scourge of the Night. Yeah. Yes, you're sitting up in an old tree. As I said, it's weird that trees are growing because it's dark, but there's shadows. Do you you putting the mask on?
Hey, Ray, are you ready to get your cosmic mind also blown again by a waffle?
I mean, I enjoyed the sorbet, but I wouldn't say that my mind was blown. But yes, new experiences, and to be honest, experiences that convince me not to destroy the world is always a good thing.
And I wanted to thank you for your help with my thesis.
Oh, I didn't think I was that useful. I think I just rather parroted back what you had told me. But I'm glad. I mean, I enjoyed what I read, and I found it interesting what you were talking about, especially when it comes to being able to identify, especially demonic forces through the use of shadows and the corona of light as well. It is an interesting subject that you have chosen.
It is, and honestly, it was just nice to be able to talk to someone about it. And them not to forget what we were talking about halfway through. So, thank you.
I'm always happy to listen. Almost. The mask can't hug you.
Oh,
That'd be ridiculous.
well, it's a face hugger.
Yeah, just like face off. Yes, you've got a slight symbiotic relationship, especially when you're wearing the mask, where it's that sort of weird thing where, like, I was joking about like the heart meter earlier, but the mask's lonely. The mask's been imprisoned in various underground tombs for hundreds of years, and then again, sort of from the little bit that and a little bit the mask was talked about, that the mask was stolen off a ship and then was brought into Doskvol to be basically used as a item of interest at Lord Bart's party, which then was stolen, and then also was going to be used as a doomsday device, and now it's stuck up in a tree. Two lost souls just hanging out in a tree. What have you put on your waffles? Is it jam?
On mine, just smothered in jam, trying to sog it down. I feel like Ray deserves chocolate and sprinkles. Like, Norm is not going to enjoy it.
Yeah.
But kind of just wants to wants to be friends with this god.
Yeah. I think
No appreciation.
of all the ways to sort of like endear yourself to this god, I said wasn't interested in sacrifices, but is enjoying. And I think actually, if we're talking about sacrifices, the fact that you're willing to eat something so the god can enjoy it, because you're not going to enjoy it, I think that's to your credit. I think
It's the noblest sacrifice of them all.
it just is. When they sing hymns of these days, you're the abnormal. Adorable. Yes, I think as you enjoy your well, you don't enjoy your waffles. You get the feeling that actually Ray's like, if I've tried it. It is not. I actually, to be honest, I enjoy the fact that you enjoy what so your jam. I enjoy that. I enjoy the fact that you're enjoying it. It's nice. It's nice to have new experiences. I mean, whatever. Are you thinking of a list of things to enjoy yourself?
There is something that I greatly enjoy.
And what is that?
So it still involves jam.
Of course it does.
We go, okay. Oh, you need to experience it to appreciate it. Are you happy to be surprised?
We're clicking over into downtime here. Here we go. Yes, go ahead. I am happy to be surprised.
Okay. You know what? We're gonna do the ritual of being covered in jam, doing some jam dabs on some graves.
By all means. How bad is your stress at the moment?
Oh, good question. It's a 3, so it's not too bad.
Cool.
Could be better, could be worse.
Yes. So the way this is happening is that we are going to make you. It is that you roll what is your lowest of the 3 scores. There is the possibility that you might overindulge, and that would be that would not be so good. Bad things will happen, but you will get rid of all that stress.
Oh, quick question: where is the
Yes.
moon at the moment?
Interesting. It's been, I believe, yes. I said to you that when you were going to the Lord's party, it was the night of the full moon, and it has been about a month. So, I think, what do we say? It was about the new moon. No, it's the full moon when you went to the party. So it's a month on. Trying to remember my moon.
Be the slightly
facts.
waning moon.
Slightly waning, yeah.
That's still relatively powerful. Okay, that's good. That's good enough to do some grave dabs. If it was lower, we need to rethink the activity.
Yes. No, that would be. I mean, that would be foolish to even think about. But hey, with the waning moon, there's still enough lunar power that you can. Perfect. So, you have gone back to. Yes, you're back in Charterhall, where a lot of the graves are, or behind the crematorium. It is night. You have covered yourself in what jam? Are you using your boysenberry?
So I probably only got a little, it was the supply for the week and it's norm. So
Yeah.
that's probably like a few jars. So yeah, let's go with boysenberry.
You have got that most tart of jams, the boysenberry. You have stripped yourself off.
Mhm.
You have completely coated, I'd say, I'm trying to think about like an average human, about how much. Probably like a couple of jars would probably, depends how thick you're covering yourself in the jam. Sorry folks, I'm now picturing myself covered in jam and I'm like, how much jam would it take to cover me? Oh heavens. Yeah, so you've probably a couple, maybe 3 jars. You're probably going to need to go and have another word with Dodger again to get more, because this isn't Actually, I'll tell you what. I mean, it's probably. Actually, no, because you would have had some back in your accommodation that you probably have stored away. So you've still got enough.
I'd mix
You've got enough.
mold jam in as well.
Yeah. Norm, covered in. You're wearing the mask as well. So
I'm wearing the mask.
yeah, so you don't have to cover your face.
No.
Amazing, folks. We make choices in this game. I love it. I love the variety that I've had. From what Scarlett and Josh have done, and now this. Yes. Would you like to roll me a dice roll? So, as I said, your lowest attribute rating.
So attributes are the big titles.
The big ones, yeah.
The big ones. Well, I'm equal for insight and resolve, so let's say it's resolve.
Yes.
And that's a 1. Wait, so I've got 1 dot in both of them.
Yeah, so you would be rolling 1 dice.
Okay.
You want low.
That was a 4.
Ooh. All right. Okay. So, basically, you get to take 4 stress off, which, of course. So you're not stressed.
Not stressed. I'm having a great time.
I have an idea of so yeah, just making sure I've got the right page here because I know what I'm going to do for this. Amazing. Could you just roll me a d6, please?
That was another 4.
Amazing.
And just for the visual, I'd say Norm is kind of dancing to the beat of their own drum, sliding from grave to grave, giving it a dab, doing an amazing dance number, is really feeling the power of the moon's glow on the jam skin.
You just, again, I don't know where the music's coming from, but it's just perfect. You know,
This is her jam.
It's just your jam. I'm also picturing a bit like, this is probably a bit too old for some of our viewers, but like the Breakfast Club, where it just there's different moves. Where you're like, yep, doing this, and then doing the shuffle.
Mm-hmm.
So this is, as you've overindulged, there are various sort of detriments to this. So I could have cut off your access to being able to do this, but I think it's quite fun to do an entanglement, where basically you have literally been dancing on the grave of the dead.
That's kind of the point.
Yeah, and these are, as I said, these are where the spirit wardens store the dead. They've taken the ghosts away, but it's not. It's that sort of thing of like going, they don't always get there in time. They can get the body and destroy the body, but the ghosts, and there are some ghosts, you can't see them because you're not attuned, but you feel like a hand on your shoulder and a voice going, I will remember this. And you're just like, oh. Again, your eyes flickering around behind your mask. You have now basically taken 1 heat with the undead. The ghosts talk to each other. And so they're like, hey, keep your eyes open for a sticky individual wearing a mask. So, yeah, you've, let's see, who's got a problem with you? Lord Skurlock? The blue coats. The entire dead of the city.
Man-bat.
Man-bat, yeah. Yes, so the circle has now is gaining more enemies than they probably have friends at the moment.
Sort that out.
Yeah,
Maybe.
I think that's fair.
I've still got my eyes on converting man-bat.
I think definitely for when the rest of your acolytes come to see you, then they're definitely to be able to go, yeah, we got man-bat. I said I turned that into a downtime roll. Would you like to do one other action to make up for? Basically, normally I'd be like, oh, because of the month you missed. No, it's all happening now before your friends arrive. I will tell you.
Remind me what the other activities I can do are.
Yes. I was just having a flick through the book. As you continue boogieing on the... Actually, I don't know if you keep dancing on the grave, or you're like, well, that was unfortunate. How did it go? A very croaky person had a go at me, which I think is very unfair.
Probably like, I'm asking Ray, did you feel it?
The glory of the moon. Yes, no, it was invigorating. It was... Do you feel better, my friend?
I feel more than better. I feel alive.
Yeah, you're coming into this with a weird sugar high.
Yep.
You're...
Weirdly, if anyone would notice that the jam, it's not sliding off, it's kind of absorbing into the skin as the dance intensifies.
As you just swallow up the jam, and then
Like a
I think-
sponge.
like a sponge, and you end in one final beautiful kind of like pirouette by the moon, as we can also see ghostly hands sort of reaching up. Again, like if you're thinking of like the end of like the downtime, like that's the snapshot. Beautiful silhouette, ghostly hands coming to choke you. Okay, so other things you could do. You can try and acquire an asset. You can work towards a long-term project, healing. You can try and reduce heat. You can do some training, or again, you could try and indulge a vice. Which, hey, don't want to tell you what to do. Don't. But
Technically, my damage from the shrapnel is still not 100% healed, or would that have helped in the month?
ooh, I would say that your damage has probably cross that off. I think that's fair to say that you had, because you also had a grappling hook in your eye. You're back to, and also because you just did your jam dance, you're back to healed. Your skin is fresh and ready for another day spent in the library.
What is training?
Training. When you spend time in training, mark 1 XP on the XP track for an attribute or playbook advancement. So if you wanted to particularly study into a particular subject, you'd gain another XP, which then, of course, would be good for leveling up, where you get to claim other attributes or things off your sheet. Or, as I said, you get to add another pip to something when it's leveled up.
Okay. In that case, I think that I've already got an acquisition. I got the poison berry. I've already indulged. I've worked towards a project. And I've got an acolyte. So I think I will. I do a bit of studying, a bit of training in
studying.
in studying. I'm a bloody student. I need to be better at it.
I think that's very fair. I think I'm not going to complicate that. I'm not going to challenge that. You go back to the Marwood wing of the library. I think a little bit of going. I think as we're going, it's like watching this montage. We go to you standing up and actually presenting a little bit for your holding up the shadow puppets, and Professor Glare sort of nodding, and then she presents you with your reading list that she's like, well, look into this. So Norm in the library, Norm. And that's the sort of thing that I think now you've put in like a bit of focus in. People are starting not necessarily to go, oh yeah, that's Norm, but going, sort of like you get a few sort of sups around where, people are like, I don't know who you are, but hey, yeah, you're getting into the. It gets a little bit complicated when you try and pretend to have dinner when someone's like, one of the children's like, Mama, did you hear that? I think there's someone in the house. They're like, no, now, Nathaniel, there's no one in the house. Camera pans over to Norm. Just eating. Again, as we established in the first episode, when you just basically swallowed an entire thing of parsnips. Just gulping down.
It just says, yes, Mama, I am here. I love you too.
Norm. Yes, so feel free to add a 1 XP on for attribute for studying, and that.
I'm done.
Amazing. So, as we come to the close, we are in the church again. You're sitting there, sort of. Again, you've got one of the books you've taken out of the library. Ray is up on the altar as well, and sort of again, you're having a quiet sort of mental conversation. When you hear footsteps on the steps, coming down into, and there is a grumpy-looking man with dirty blonde hair, and sort of he's already seemed to have gained robes. It looks like it's a dressing gown, but he's wearing robes. The abnormal. I've gone and I've started doing some research. I think I've got an idea where gods come from. I also have found 2 more acolytes for you to talk to. As you look up into the very confused and kind of annoyed faces of Hag and Rafe, who both do the kind of look at you. And you just hear Ray going, "I'm marvelous. More people to worship." And that is, folks, and that delight is where we shall stop for the evening. Thank you very much for joining us for this fun little trilogy of our heroes all coming together. And now finally, officially, we can say that this is Blades in the Dark Cult.